Welcome to the social circle where creators come together to turn ideas into impact and goals into a reality. I am Candace, and this is
Jennifer, and good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. And from wherever you're joining us from, I'm so glad you guys are here. Today, we have
brand partnerships. I actually just kind of started on this journey. So I have learned a lot of things and I've been trying to share a lot of that with a group, but I just want to break down how to maybe land brand partnerships that will stick instead of finding something that, like those freaking Amazon people that want you to buy oh my gosh, they want you to buy their product and then you're gonna make the video and then they're gonna reimburse you and
they're disgusting.
oh
By the
my
way,
god.
if any of those people ever message you, ignore them, block them. You don't have to respond to those people because they are just fishing, right? You have to be aware. And that's a safety thing for yourself.
Amen, girl. I tell as many people as I can, and because I made the mistake. I did
Exactly.
it.
I'm still getting them to this day. "Hi, we saw your profile. We
Uh,
thought you would be a great fit for our product line." And it's like some jewelry stuff, and I'm like, "If you know my content, you know I wear like one necklace, and that's it.
right.
I'm never gonna wear the rest of it. So, bye." Like,
That's so true. Brings us to our circle hack. And something, just a quick tip for this week is create a media kit. Create a media kit that highlights your best performing content, your audience demographics, and what makes you a great partner for the brand. Even if you're just starting out, you can just do it on a simple PDF. You can use Canva. Just make sure that a clean design is there and you have clear stats because that can go a long way. Brands want to see who you reach and how you show up. I just created this website. It is for UGC, user generated content, which is pretty much everything you make. I've got different services and the prices. I've also got podcast bundles. And then I just share our content. So this is just a basic place for brands to get all of the information that they need. This is my media kit on Beacons, which has all of my information. You will see it is down here on my link in bio. And this is where I have the same types of information with my engagement. Oh, look at the social circle. So yeah, that's a media kit. Super simple, but definitely something that you should have. You can also go in Canva, you can Google media kits, but it's just another place for brands to find you quickly.
and I think in
Yeah.
in our conversation today, this can be applied with digital or physical products, right? It doesn't have to just be one kind of a product that you're trying to be a partner to.
True. But anyways, if you let's just talk about these three basic easy steps that you can use. And of course, these are just basic, very minimal. We go into way more detail inside of the Social Circle VIP. So make sure that you take the time to join our group after this. So, number one, research brands that align with you and your niche. Look for brands that are already working with creators just like you, right? You can see that in so many people's videos. And I'm sure that I just notice it a lot more now than I used to, right? Wouldn't you agree? Like you just have on this different set of eyeballs.
100%. Once you start learning marketing rather than just creating, when you start learning and understanding marketing, it's like all of these things are just screaming at you now because you can see what's going on. I follow creators now that are different from the reasons why I started following them. And I am seeing it and it's not because they have like hashtag paid ad or anything. It's because I can actually just know the second that they're coming on screen that this isn't a normal skit or this isn't a normal version of what I normally follow a creator for. And so you'll get to understand this a lot better. So just
Yeah,
little awareness there.
very true. Say you're looking at brands that creators like you are already working with. And then better yet, look at brands that aren't, but they should be. right? Think about your content themes, your values, your audience. What do they like? What do they not like? Are they parents? Are they not parents? Don't pitch a protein bar if you're a DIY brand, right? Unless you're like snacking while you're renovating, that's completely different. But look at things that align with your who you are and what you do. For example, I have been reaching out to a lot of Florida based brands because I have a Florida specific TikTok account. And I know that my Florida community provides a lot of engagement over there. So it's just a good opportunity for brands to be seen and my Florida audience to see them.
It's a good thing too, because when you're involved in your community, right? That's another so this can go many ways, right? We could get so sidetracked on these kinds of conversations, but you can be so involved in your local communities in all kinds of different ways, guys. You don't have to just focus on what, your product is about. You could always focus on my example. I'm a parent, right? So a lot of my content I would do a partnership with kids' toys. I would do partnerships with kids' foods, basically everything related. I could even do a partnership with a van because we just got a minivan. Now I could be a soccer mom and I could do a CarMax commercial if I felt like it, if I were to be so inclined to promote
You
CarMax.
could.
I could, literally, and that's because my lifestyle would fit with my current vehicle choice. So it would make sense that I would then reach out to those individuals who are considering SUV versus minivan because I just went through that experience. So I could technically reach out to CarMax and I could say, "Hey, if you guys want this deal with me, I'm willing to, check out my content." And it's also about, seeing what's on the basic level of the paid advertising community, seeing how they're doing it and going about it rather than seeing it from the community level where you know your people, you know what they want. So you know and you have your finger on the nerve of what that community is wanting. And so this is your opportunity to take that step from connecting a brand to connecting your community.
Yeah. The next thing that you need to do is prepare a compelling pitch, which is a lot more difficult than you think. Luckily, there's ChatGPT. But, this is where you're going to introduce yourself. You can share your basic stats. They want to know how many followers, how much engagement you get. And don't get it twisted. The amount of followers is not a big deal, which we'll get into later, but just focus on what's in it for them, not really you and what you are doing, but what can you provide to their brand and for their product. Be specific though. So, what I have been doing is offering some type of creative concept inside of my emails, like to show how my brand and what we produce content wise can feature their product. So, and it's more about connection. It's more about the amount of engagement you have on your profile than it is follower count.
And that's the confusion that a lot of people have is that if you don't have like hundreds of thousands of people following you, then it's next to impossible to get a brand deal, and that's incorrect. That's just you assuming certain things because you didn't get all the information before. And now we're here to remind you that even small communities are able to get brand deals and build from there. Obviously, a brand that you want to work with, it has to fit what your community is for, what your niche is, what you're doing with your account.
Mhm.
And that's something that, it doesn't make sense if you are a dog walker account and you're trying to promote a fisherman's product. It just doesn't work like
Right.
that. Even though you can understand that their fisherman commercials aren't doing well and they're losing sales and you know why, it doesn't help you in any kind of way. It's good that you can point that out, but go talk to a dog company about their best performing food or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Because go ahead.
And last thing, when you land the deal, like once you land it, because we manifest the real things here, treat it like the beginning from the start. Treat it like it's the first time you've ever worked with them and over deliver. Send them maybe a report afterwards if you're a nerd like me and you do after action reports on stuff. send them that. Let them know like what was good, what you did like, what you didn't like. Be the easy one to work with so that they're constantly calling on you and it's long-term partnership instead of just one time.
Totally. Yeah, I think that's a very valuable thing. You got to take up space in what you're doing. Make them remember that you're there and it's something that you're willing to keep doing for them if you like them, right? I remember there was a time that certain creators were tied to their product, meaning they didn't create their own brand first. They just promoted a certain product. And when that product ended up drying up, they were just switching base. So that's something that you want to be careful of as well is that your brand is you, right? Your community loves you. You just know what your people want. And you don't want to just jump ship from product to product.
That's
Lost my
so
train of thought.
true. We've seen so many people do
Yeah.
that. Oh my goodness.
It's
Right.
it's just
What happens
one.
when what is, I forget, there was a big beauty influencer, Michaela, that did that
Oh.
possibly lied about her mascara gate. I'm sure we've all heard
Oh.
of it. And like, but she's still out there kicking butt and taking names and making money. So like, make sure when you're picking things that you want to represent you and represent your content, you're going to throw it in your content. You want it to be something that you believe in. You want it to be something that you're really proud of and not just something that's going to make you a quick buck.
Yeah, no, and I think that's what helps keep your longevity with that deal, right? Is that you studied their way of sales, right? You studied their commercials, you studied their email marketing, you've studied how they promote their product to people, and you don't wanna give away all of the information right away. You want to kind of lead them into, "Okay, well, I see this as a problem. Can we address it?" And then you wanna go to the next thing. "I see this as another problem. Can we address this? I think I can help you here," right? You don't wanna just give them the farm, or give away the cow for free.
Right.
You definitely wanna keep them interested in what you are capable of, and that's, I think, what I think Shannon McKinstry talked about that. You get your deals to be better and better and better because you're able to deep dive and clearly explain it a lot more to your deal while it's happening.
Yeah, somebody that I discovered a few weeks ago, I sent you her information and I'm like, trying to emulate her because Jamie Hess, she used to
Yeah.
do like PR for big brands and big companies, and now she's a social media expert. Her and her husband have built multiple brands themselves, and she's authentic. And I just love that. And the way that she talks about pitching to brands is once again really finding what you can bring to the brand that somebody else can't. Like what is it
Exactly.
about you? I love that.
I agree with that too. I think there's I'm gonna always talk about this creator because she's so good at it. Nicole Story Dent, right? My favorite ad that I ever have watched her do is the one for it's a women's branded underwear, so it's Parade underwear. And she is herself a comical person. And in her reels that I see where she's promoting that particular brand, she's doing the mix of what her current content already is. And she's just writing out another skit for this kind of content. Another creator that does really well, oh, now I'm gonna forget it because I'm thinking it too hard. Oh, Lindsay Girk, right? So
Oh
she
yeah.
started out, yeah, she's got her own product line for clothing, but now she's also got paid partnerships with a food company. So she's doing Mrs. T's pierogi commercials now on her account. And they're
No
so
way. I
cute.
love
They're
them.
adorable because she's just, she's very good at just telling us the storyline while she's just preparing the food, and that's the ideal way, I feel, if you're really on top of your game, is that you can just tell the story of, "When I was a kid, I used to love these pierogies that my grandma made, and, we lost a recipe, but then I found these, and I tried them once, and they were the best kind that I've had ever since my grandma passed, and we never found the recipe again, and it's these. So now we have a Thursday table dump dinner, and we're just having pierogies and sauce on the table, right?" And she's like doing the video in the background, so like it's all matching. The
Yeah.
the way that they're doing this marketing is just very perfect for their style of content. And this is what we all try to work up to. And it can take time It is possible though, but because they had already built themselves their brand of who they are, these comical, goofy women, a lot of options are open to them with their partnership deals. So just
Yeah.
like don't box yourself in, right? I think that's the point of what I'm trying to remind you guys. Just don't be
Amen.
boxed in, because then it can become difficult to find other brands. So again, you could always just sell Stanley for everything. I think I see Stanleys everywhere that's
Everywhere, yeah.
possible. So
Or
anybody can
beacons.
or
We
beacons,
love
right?
beacons.
Everybody can promote a Stanley Cup or not everybody can promote a Beacons, right? Because
True.
it's 2 different styles, right? 2 different things. So just reminders, right? You gotta do the work. You gotta study the content. You gotta study the customer that you wanna acquire, right? The brand that you wanna acquire, and find where you think you can improve their stuff and then offer something.
Yeah. I mean, you know what? This is one way to start. And I heard somebody tell me this in a Zoom last week. She said, just start tagging the brands in your content. Like when you make something and you have and you're using a certain tool or whatever, just tag the brand. Tag the brand. And I was like, dang, that's so easy to do. And you just don't think about that, like, especially when you're first starting out, because you're
Oh,
very
yeah.
intimidated, right? Like, you're like, oh,
Yeah.
I don't want to tag them. Tag them. They don't have to accept the tag, right?
Right, no, and that's another nice feature with social media. Now, I know Instagram you can tag. I'm not sure about other platforms, but inside of Instagram, that tag right there, that is just another way to outreach, right? So that's something to keep in mind when you're doing this. I think I saw another creator who just does, she just comes onto her screen and she's just talking about something that her kid was doing, but she had her coffee cup and she had her coffee creamer. And whether she knows what she did or not, I can't tell that yet, but she just put her coffee cup down on the counter and just placed the coffee creamer right next to the coffee cup. The whole time she's talking though, I'm thinking, I didn't even know that brand had that thing, and she did not tag them in her content, and I'm like, that was like a free plug that probably could have got her a deal in the future had she considered that that's what she was trying to do. I don't think she was though, because I didn't see a plug in
But
there.
maybe that is what she's trying to
And
do. And she's
that
being
could be how
strategic
you
about it.
work your way in. Yes,
And
exactly.
with
That's
it,
how.
if that's the
Yes.
case, well done, ma'am.
Well done, ma'am,
Well
right?
done.
Yeah, but that's
We'll have
yeah,
to
that's
post that in the show notes.
for sure. No, yeah, for sure. I think that's a very strategic, sneaky way of placing yourself into your particular product or brand idea, right? You want them to know you exist. That's an example. That's a great idea to do that.
I mean,
Okay.
is great to bring us into the social spotlight because, we're talking about brand deals and people are probably thinking, well, this is so out of my league. Just breaking down what's hot in the digital world. Don't count yourself out, which we've already said, but like people think that you have to have these big numbers, but like small numbers are trendy.
Micro influencers, if you've not heard that term, people who are under 50,000 following, right? They've got really low amounts of posts out there, but their content is so good because they were able to craft and create information that their community found so like they have to have it. It is something that they are not really grabbing you because of the flash and the awe of, oh my God, I have so many thousands of followers. It's because no, they actually were able to target exactly who they want to speak to in their content. And these are the kinds of people that, as you are getting started in your content creation journey, find those kinds of people because one, they're already a few steps ahead of you. I'll just say this: they're a few steps ahead of you. They've kind of struggled a little bit, and it's something to watch because they don't have as much. But on the other side of that, because they were able to get those people to follow them, they are still able to monetize that information. They're still able to really sell a product to them. Like there's one woman that I'm following, and she's just a relatable mom. That's all she's like known for. And she has Amazon products. She has her own guide for helping parents like get their kids to bed early, right? So she's understood exactly who she came speaking to. I don't know how long she's been on, but or using social media, but she's a smaller account. However, she was able to take what she knows and feed it to her community like it was their lifeline, their bloodline. And it's Apparently, it's because she does stories every now and then, so she does share, like, what her concepts are and what she's doing so well in her business, and that's something to keep in mind is that you don't have to be Tom Brady reaching out to Gatorade or Gatorade reaching out to Tom Brady, right? You can be a Jen Radillac, you can be a Candace Wells, and you can have a really good community that is still willing to buy because you've been able to just truly show your skill in what you know on marketing your product. And I think
Absolutely.
yeah, and I think that's something that so many of us, when we're getting started, we jump right into the comparisonitis game. We look at what, this other creator has 5,000 followers and only, 700 posts. But you don't actually know how much they're making, if they're making a dime at all, because their content could just be strictly all about, I'm going to use this example because it's very popular, side hustles, right? All of that side hustle crap we know already is not really worth doing or looking at or learning from because it's clickbait, to be honest, it's clickbait.
But side note, if anybody is ever wondering about any of those side hustle videos, you could probably ask Jennifer and I because we've likely tried them.
Not a lie there. I think it's I
So
think it's good to
you're
be taught.
welcome.
Yeah, no, I think and we tested it out because we wanted to be able to answer those types of comments and questions, right? And that's
Exactly.
how we know it's clickbait. It's getting you to do or act on something so that they can send you something. That's a whole other conversation, so we'll step back from
Amen.
that.
Yeah, but like think about it this way. A creator with 5,000 highly engaged followers, right? They constantly comment, they constantly share. They're on all their stuff all the time compared to a big creator with like 1 million followers that gets no engagement.
They bought their
Like they
followers
have
most
all
likely,
these
in my opinion.
followers, but their views are at like 10,000.
And
I've seen
another
it.
adding on to that, what Candace just said, is that if you do see an account with millions of followers, but their engagement is like thousands of views, less than thousands of views, right? You have to be aware that it could be a bot account, it could be somebody paying for all of that follower, but nothing is actually happening. And that's your biggest red flag, run. Don't even
Amen.
continue watching that account. But yeah, I think another thought that just popped into my head with micro influencer subject, it's learning that, engagement and getting your community to just constantly be saying anything to you, it's a skill, right? You do have to work at it to understand it, but it is completely doable. So don't get discouraged when you feel like, oh my God, nobody's interacting, nobody's saying anything to me. You just need to like level up yourself. You need to
Yep.
constantly be learning, constantly be figuring out, okay, well, it's a test. Candace always says this to me, marketing is testing. Test, test, test. Everything is a test. You have to remind yourself of
It's
that.
all in the test. It's
Yes.
all in the test.
And it's so important that I think there was one girl when I was still kind of like floundering in my content, right? I ended up following another lady who she was speaking to my humanity side, right? So I was doing my own marketing side of brain on my Instagram account, but this woman popped into my feed because I was trying to figure out, postpartum anxiety, depression, and weight loss. And then she popped into my feed and she had very low follower count. But because her content was so perfectly targeted at answering the questions about postpartum, everything that I was feeling postpartum as a mom, right? She ended up growing her account in a very quick time because she already knew who exactly what she was speaking to. So she already had her product line ready. She already had her brand deals ready. Um, and that's not to say that you can't do that, but that's just something to keep in mind is that if you are like super hyper focused on getting your target audience to know what it is you have and what you offer, that's like another reason for a brand deal to be like the best partnership that you could make is because you just absolutely know whether, you're slow at it or getting, started, it's something that is definitely going to be happening. And everything we've talked to up to this point, hopefully you've also been already inside of our community. All of this stuff is there, right? We help you break this stuff down, so don't miss any of that.
Amen. And you know what? Speaking of inside the VIP circle and brand deals, guys, we're all just one solid pitch away from our huge partnership. Like, if we just keep showing up and we try, we're just one email away, one DM away. And that's what I've been doing recently is sending emails and DMs to companies that we know, that we like, that we use on a constant basis and that we use currently and could use in the future in our content. And that's across all of our platforms. And I'm putting myself out there and I'm trying to do 5 brands a day, which I
That's a
have not
lot.
met yet.
That's a lot, but it's also something to build up to, right? You can't just nobody was born running, right? And you're not ever gonna be just starting and then also having brand deals. So you gotta have that mindset too, is this is all a workup. You just have to start and you have to try. And it's a confidence builder for yourself, because you also have to fail hundreds of times to understand what works normally, right? So you have to say the wrong things a lot of the time first before you
Mhm.
actually come up with this perfect speech,
Yeah.
with this perfectly constructed or formatted conversation. Because then
Mhm.
once you've understood how to grab the attention of one brand, then you can say, okay, oh, once you analyze and put all of that into a form that you can repeat, then you're gold, right? You can reach out to
Amen.
every
Yeah, exactly.
and that's the process, right? It's just like building content from the start, from the jump, doing all the spaghetti on the wall stuff until you've actually decided and understood, okay, well, none of this is good, but all of this is great. So now just make all of this hundreds of times. And
Right.
that's like the best thing you can do for yourself.
Absolutely. And it's it was just about taking that first step, really. It was about taking that first step and putting myself out there and getting that first no. That's always the hardest, the no. Like I was the first one, I was afraid to open the email to see what they said because
Was
I
it
was
your
like,
first
"Oh, that was
brand,
really fast."
Ryobi?
Huh?
Your first brand that you wanted was Ryobi or Ryobi, right? That was one of the
How did
brands
you
that you were
guess?
like,
High Noon, Ryobi. Look,
yeah,
all these I look, I've sent messages to Disney, Universal, like, think big. The worst they could say is no. They're
oh
not gonna
yeah,
put you on blast out there and be like, "This fool really asked us for a brand partnership." Like, no,
yeah.
it's not that serious.
And
So
to be
start building
honest,
your media kit.
no,
Do
yeah,
s
definitely.
do some brand research and send a pitch. Send a pitch. And when you do, share it with us in our group, right, Jennifer?
Yes, that is right. You definitely want to let us know because we are your cheerleaders and we're going to be so happy to hear that you landed your first deal because you were listening to us.
Yay! Side of the Social Circle VIP, my entire test with brand partnerships and emails and how the best approach, all of that is going to go inside of our community. So make sure that you join as soon as possible so you can get all of that information.
So if you're feeling like you still need to know more ways that you can make money with your content, make sure you DM us here at Just a Marketing Chick, that's Candace, and over here, this is at Jen Radilek, that's me. If you enjoyed this episode, please make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you're ready for next level support, we do live streams twice a week, and you can join our VIP group where you are connected to content creation and you want to get into the boot camp where you are taken step by step mindset all the way through scaling your business. Make sure you follow and like this podcast to get weekly updates.
Cheers!
Here we go. Cheers. Ta-da. Clink.